So welcome back, everyone. Sorry if that was a little loud. Probably jump scared y'all. But welcome back. I wanted to do a little making sense of Don Lemon interview with that man X, okay? That man that owned XX, okay? And I wanted to talk about it from a different perspective because I feel like everybody's just going to view it from one perspective. And I saw everybody in the comment section was working my damn nerves under that video. And I wanted to just come on and chit chat about it real quick. Most of you that have been on my channel for a long time, and I'm so trying to stop saying a lot of you have been on my channel for a long time, and you know I do these car chats, baby. And I wanted to just do this making sense of in a car chat version today. So let's get into it.
Yeah. She want that bag, I get that cash, smoking that gas, I get that bag, she want that bag, I get that bag, I get that cash, smoking that gas, she want that bag, I get that cash,
So welcome back, everyone. My name is April Butcher. I'm your mother on social, and I come to give you guys a little common sense commentary when it comes to things happening in the world, in pop culture, and in these internet streets. So if that interests you, definitely hit that subscribe button, like this video, and let's get into the interview with Don Lemon and that man that owned XX. So I was listening. I watched both episodes, okay? I just watched them today, and I was listening to Ashley, and she was talking and whatever. And I just want to give 3 pointers from this interview that I think the black community is missing, because that's mainly who we speaking to, because that's who she's speaking to. That's who she asking forgiveness from. And I listened to her, but I'm like Cammie Crawford. She mentioned Cammie Crawford. Shout out to Cammie Crawford. I'm like Cammie Crawford. I'm listening, but I still got my reservations, right? And I saw people in the comment section saying, oh, we believe her. We believe. Everybody just believing people because they give a little bit of tea and a little bit of gossip on people that they don't like. Okay? Let's make that very clear. People will forgive people or listen to people or give people a pass, or the most famous thing that black people like to do is invite people to the cookout. And y'all ready to invite Ashley to the cookout just because she spread some tea on some people and she said a couple crazy things that made people kiki and laugh. Okay? Now, lesson number 1 is exactly what I just said. We need to stop forgiving people so quickly. Oprah is the main person that every time she is asked in the street, what lesson would you share with people, okay, that you learn in life, that you still use to this day? And Oprah will stop and say, well, Maya Angelou taught me that once a person shows you who they are the first time, believe them.
So I never trust anybody who says I love you and the person doesn't love herself.
Okay? Y'all be ready to throw that out the door just because somebody said a kiki and a ha-ha and a ha-ha and a kiki. Okay? And that's not everybody. I'm just saying majority of the people be ready to like forgive somebody because they spreading a little tea and giving a little gossip. And we have to stop doing that. Like she said, nobody should trust her. They should just see her actions and go from there, right? And my thing is, she made that bed, she got to lay in it. Like, when are we going to allow people to take the accountability that they have, but also suffer from the consequences of what that caused them? If we be so quick to invite her into our spaces and our places, you know, shout out to Don Lemon for doing this, but anything above that, inviting her to anything, I don't want to see her on my timeline on anybody else's podcast, on anybody else's thing. She made that bed, now she has to lay in it with the consequences of thereof. Okay? So let's start there. Number 2 is we have to understand that anybody that is associated with this girl going forward is guilty by association. We have to understand that she's one person that whistleblowed, or whatever you want to call it, that finally spoke on this topic. and had the balls enough to speak on the topic. But at the end of the day, anybody else that associates with her will be guilty by association. Even if you have like good intentions of working with her, you're going to be guilty by association. What do you mean by that, April? Meaning any DMs, any emails that you reach out to her, you're going to be scrutinized. You have to understand, they got this girl under watch. This girl just said they got black cars and stuff outside her house. Okay? So you have to be aware that you will be under surveillance as well. They are probably combing through her emails, her DMs, her phone. Nothing's untouched by these people. Now, what's crazy to me is she mentioned like, oh, that X-Man. That's what we're going to call him, the X-Man. That X-Man over there, Professor X up over there. Well, I told y'all about them Starlink satellites years ago, like 3 years ago. I did a whole entire live here on YouTube showing y'all the app Night Sky. And if you download the app Night Sky, you can see every single Starlink satellite that's out there. I showed y'all they even have them so big they're called constellations, and you can see them floating in the sky at night, which is probably why some people, and I know my camera's kind of leaning, which is why some people probably think that they're spaceships and stuff, because they're really Starlink constellations. That's what they call them. And I showed y'all that a couple years ago when I went over to Catalina Island, and I went stargazing, and we got to see some of the constellations floating by on top of the International Space Station. And I just, like, for the life of me, don't understand how people don't understand that. She's going to have to live in the bed that she made. She's going to have to lie there. She's going to have to deal with the consequences of her actions. And if I was anybody out there, brands, I'm going to be real honest. Brands, people, be aware. I wouldn't say don't work with her, but I would say 1000% be aware, be lawyered up, be vigilant about yourself, and understand that you're going to be under a microscope as well. So remember that and respect that. Now, number 3. The third thing I learned from watching this podcast with her is to answer without answering. I'll say it again. To answer without answering. When Don Lemon would say, well, why do you think Professor X did that? Well, I don't know. That's a question you have to ask him. Okay, girl. Well, all right then. I guess that's a question I have to ask him. Okay. So I learned in that instance that we should not answer questions. And I mean, some people might be like, oh, well, I always did that. Well, good for you, girl. I'm glad you learned that lesson in life. But not all of us was taught that lesson. Okay. But we being taught it right now, which is to not answer on emotion or what you think or assume somebody did something to you or the reason why they did something. You leave that for them to answer. Don't be answering for people. You feel what I'm saying? And she answered a lot of questions like that. She's highly intelligent, a very, very smart girl. But that's the whole entire gist of it, is that you have to be smart when you're moving in these types of spaces and places. And like she would say, having a platform on that type of level, you have to be careful in the way that you're moving, right? And another thing, going back to thing number 2 about guilty by association, we have to also understand too, one thing I commend Don Lemon for is exposing what she put in them texts too. Because a lot of times people want to tell you what the other person did and the other person said, but they don't tell you what they said. Okay. And for him to expose the things that she said also, and she was like, oh my God, it's just so cringe. I don't want you to read it. And he read it anyway. Kudos to Don Lemon for doing that. Because a lot of times people will tell you only what the other person said, but they won't tell you what they said also, or what they applied to that conversation or that situation. Okay. And we have to always be open. That is something that I do all the time. If somebody come tell me some yan, some caca about, so-and-so said, well, what did you say? What did you contribute? What was your response? Okay? Guilty by association, child. And we have to understand that about people. We have to understand that currently right now, we as people are under attack, and we have to keep our guard up and stop just being willy-nilly quick to just run and forgive and be cool and invite people to the damn cookout. Y'all just are screaming that to the top of y'all mountaintop throats just at the beginning of the year during Black History Month, and it's June and everybody already ready to invite her to the cookout. Hell to the no. Okay? If she wants to be an ally, she's going to have to prove herself. Okay? The G7 summit and the NATO and all this that's going on, girl, you're going to have to prove yourself just like them people be in them damn type of summits and groups and proving themselves to be loyal and worthy to a cause. So stop being so forgiving and just willy-nilly with people. Like, reading that comment section, y'all just, come on, people, y'all be wishy-washy as hell, boy. One day y'all on y'all activism tip, and the next day y'all asking who bringing the soda, who bringing the plates, and who bringing the ice. Okay? So with that being said, just wanted to give some common sense to this, because I thought it was an awesome interview. Regardless on what side you stand on, it was a really good interview. Just wanted to give my 2 cents on it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I'm getting ready to go eat at some Whataburger here in Las Vegas. I'll check you guys out later. I have another video coming up tomorrow about Jordyn Woods, another Jordyn Woods video. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Like I said, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. There's some videos that are up at the end of this video that you might enjoy and like. Comment on those and like those and watch those, and I would appreciate you if you do. Talk to you guys later. Bye.